Right, guys. Yeah, so I don't really... I've not... apart from the fact that this exists, I've avoided all spoilers for it. This has been the worst kept secret for a long time, hasn't it? I think the pro's been pretty much all but confirmed for the last last half a year or something like that. I think we've already seen the design. The design leaked last week, and it was in like the back of the PlayStation. It was like PlayStation. I don't know if it was like an anniversary thing, but it was in like the background of a picture. So I think I know what it looks like, and I think we've already. Well, it seems like there's no disk drive attached to it, which was the rumor from last week, which is very disappointing because I want discs. I have lots of discs. So actually there was yeah, so actually there's been more spoiled than I've kind of remembered, but price wise, I mean, let's face it, the current PS5 is still $480 and actually has gone up in price in Japan. So my guess would be this is going to be like 600 to 650 quid, I think. Yeah, that's my guess. I guess we'll see if I'm close to it once we watch through this. Apart from that, I don't really know what else there is to talk about. I mean, the controller's going to be the same, I would imagine. Hi, Rocky. How you doing, man? Yeah, controller probably the same. I can't see him changing that. I mean, the dream would be if they could, like, if they bolted on some kind of extra backwards compatibility with this. You know, like if we could get PS1 and PS2 backwards compatibility. PS3 isn't going to happen because that's weirdly complicated to do, but that is literally a pipe dream. I can't see that ever happening. Yeah, I think it's going to be... I don't know if there's going to be a lot to talk about, really, because it's going to be... It's going to be more 4K than the current PS5 is, aka it will do 4K more often than not. And it will have some kind of like... probably some kind of DLSS technology, some scaling technology of some sort. And then more stuff will run at 60 FPS or 120 FPS. I guess that's all it's going to be, but hopefully they'll show some demos of stuff, although I don't know how well that's going to carry across into a YouTube stream, but I guess we shall have a look. All right, let's just go line up the next song. There you go. All right, guys, let's see what we've got. Let's get down to the right time. I realise this is only about 9 minutes, isn't it? So this is going to be a very short video. Okay. Oh, you meant to have sound. Come on, Sony, give us a bit of sound. All right, Martin. How you doing, man? All right, give me sound. Sound wants sound.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology.
Let's have a look.
But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds.
It's all stuff we already know here.
Data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
You okay? I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the game.
Is half this video just telling us what a PS5
With
is?
audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally,
Right,
the DualSense
great.
controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big Three. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
Okay.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Oh yeah, this was
or
what
PSSR for short.
That's what got leaked
PSSR
a couple of months
analyzes
back.
the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big Three involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the Fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier. This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the Big Three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
That is a beautiful looking game.
As well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows.
So ray traced shadows are more interesting
of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro
to me than
Simply
the reflections.
Put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never
Yeah, so it looks like the leaked design. Yeah, leaked design was correct.
Don't leave me hanging.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
It's very difficult to tell looking side by side in a YouTube video, though, isn't it? Like really, really difficult.
What's with all the neon?
I'm kind of interested to see how many third parties actually do stuff with it as well. Fucking hell, I was wrong. 700 quid. Bloody hell. That... Jesus Christ, that's expensive. Alright, there's no like little hidden bit, is there? No, that's it. Woo! 700 quid. Hang on. Bloody hell, let's go back to just chatting here a minute. My God. That is very expensive. Yeah, well, yeah, actually, no, Martin, you make a good point. £700 with no disk drive as well. It's 2 terabytes. It fucking better be for that much. The disk drive's about 100 quid. Unless they've just decided to increase the price of those as well. I think the lowest I've ever seen them is about 90 quid. So you're looking at about 800 quid if you want a disc PS5 Pro. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think I'm alright as well. I don't know if I can justify that. To be fair, I could get it. I can get it at, I can get it on discount at work. I get one discount on a console a year. So I could get it for 140 quid cheaper. But still, like, I work at a certain video game shop, Cast. 550 quid is what $700 is. Yeah, they get sales tax on top of that, though, don't they? I think, depending on the state. Yeah, that's I don't know about that. Sure, Jay. Yeah, 700 inches, please. Yeah, that's expensive. Very, very expensive. to the point where I don't know if I feel like they're overreaching, but at the same time, if that's what it costs, that's what it costs, right? Because, you know, inflation has caused everything to go up in price. But yeah, that's exactly what I feel, Martin. Like, you're starting to encroach on PC territory at that point. Now, I will say, you're not going to get a PC as powerful as a PS5 Pro for the same amount of money, but they are towing that line of just people going like, fuck it, I'll just buy a PC. No, Mikey, it's not. It's absolutely not. You've the only reason you would have to get a PS5 Pro if you've got a 4090 is if you don't want to wait until the exclusives come to PC, which they will, because this is what's happening now. True. Yeah, GTA 6 apparently is a year. I think that's a year's exclusivity between consoles and PC. Yeah, I suppose, like, just so this video doesn't go on, because I want to make like a little short video of this for YouTube. I think tech-wise, that's very good. I'd be interested to see the Digital Foundry breakdown of this, to see, because they'll probably be able to pick it apart more and tell us some more interesting things. The super scaling technology being like done in-house could be really cool. So I just assumed they've been using FSR before, and FSR is not great for scaling up. DLSS would have been better, but the current consoles don't have NVIDIA GPUs, do they? Yeah, that could be good. It's interesting that we, at least at the moment, do not have a response from Microsoft as to if they're doing anything. But the rumour is apparently they might be bringing on the next-gen console earlier than they would before. So you might get a next-gen Xbox in the next, like, 2 years or so, rather than... Because the general consensus is that in 2028 we'll get PS6. Or, like, you know, the equivalent. Whatever they're doing. Like, yeah. It's I think, yeah, their own, was it PSSR, was it called? PSSR could be very strong because they've only got one console set up to worry about, so they can optimize it for that, can't they? I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer. But I'm also interested to see how many devs actually take up, like, actually implement PS5 Pro modes. Because it's not a given, and obviously some stuff doesn't need it. Like, I'm not gonna get Capcom Fighting Collection and expect that to play any better than it would on a PS4, let alone a PS5 Pro. Yeah, I'm on the fence at the moment. The only reason I'm thinking of getting one is because I can get it on discount. If I couldn't get it on discount, it's literally off the table. Yeah, it's got 2 terabyte in it, but that's like, yeah, that's too much for me. But I'm gonna have to buy the fucking disk drive as well, because all my games are on disc. I'd love to. We would never get it, but I'd love to know a breakdown of the cost of this machine, to see if they're taking a piss a bit, or if this is pretty much how much it costs. But no, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait and see what Digital Foundry and a few other places say, and see if it's actually worth doing or not. Because they did show. I've been putting off playing FF7 Rebirth, and they did show Rebirth there. So I'd be intrigued to see if they add some kind of mode, like add a new mode on for that, for example, to bring it up to PS5 Pro quality.